Happy Friendsgiving. I want to give a shout out to Joann for asking me to take part in this collab again this year. She's doing a Friendsgiving collab, and I will post the links to all the channels who are participating in the description of this video. So thanks, Joann, for asking me to join you today. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy dessert. This time of year, with the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving and Christmas, it gets so busy that you find yourself having to go here and go there, and you feel like you have to bring something, even if you're not required to. Sometimes you feel like you need to. Or if someone asks you to come and bring a dish, sometimes it can throw you into a panic this time of year because we are so busy. So this dessert is called cherry dump cake, and it is so quick and easy. And people will think that you literally spent hours in the kitchen when all you did was dump things in a pan and throw it in the oven. So I'm going to show you how to do it today. And it's things that you have on hand in your house anyway, or you could keep in your pantry for just such occasions when someone will say, hey, could you make a dessert for this or that? And you'll have it on hand. So let me go over the ingredients first. And I usually make mine in a 13 by 9 pan, and I always spray it with Pam or olive oil or something so that it doesn't stick. You'll need a yellow cake mix. It can be any brand. This was on sale, so that's why I got this brand. You'll need a can of cherry pie filling mix. You'll need a can of crushed pineapple, and you'll want to drain this. You'll need a half a cup of chopped pecans. You could use walnuts. You can use whatever kind of nut that you like. And you also need 2 sticks. Yes, 2 sticks of butter. That's what makes it so good. And who doesn't love butter? And the recipe actually calls for coconut. It calls for a cup of flaked coconut. But my family isn't real big on coconut. I've made this with coconut and I've made it without. And my family prefers it without the coconut. So I'm not going to put it in, but it is an option. And I will have all of the ingredients and this recipe in the description of the video. So let's get to making the dump cake. Here are all of the ingredients you'll need, plus a 13 by 9 pan. So first thing you do is you preheat your oven to 350. So I'm going to do that. And then you spray your 13 by 9 pan with Pam or some other non-stick spray. And that just helps it to keep it from sticking. And literally, this is the simplest thing because you take all of your ingredients and dump them in the pan and put it in the oven. So the longest thing about it is the baking time, and that's about 50 minutes. So first of all, I drained my pineapple. I didn't totally drain all the liquid off because it does add some flavor to the cake. So you just put it all in your pan. Dump it in the pan because it's called a dump cake, and just kind of even it out and spread it out. And then you put your cherries, and you can make this with any fruit. They make all kinds of dump cake recipes. So if you like blueberry, if you like apple, you could substitute any of that for the cherry if you aren't particularly fond of cherries. I love cherry pie. That's my favorite. And when this thing bakes up, it bakes like a cobbler. So you just take your spatula and you just work your cherries around until they're all evenly distributed in your baking dish. And then you take your yellow cake mix and literally dump it over the top. Seriously, the easiest recipe ever. Now I'm going to put part of the cake mix, and then I'm going to put my nuts, and then I'm going to finish it with the rest of the cake mix. A half a cup to a cup of nuts, and like I said, any kind of nuts that you like. We happen to like pecans. And so I'm just going to, I'm not measuring this because you don't really need to. Like I said, this is such an easy recipe. And then I'll put the rest of the cake mix over the top. And if you like coconut, you can put coconut. We just don't particularly care for coconut in ours. And then I'm just using my fingers to spread out the cake mix more evenly. And then we take our 2 sticks of butter, and this is what makes it so delicious. And you can melt the butter and pour it over the cake mix, dry cake mix, but some recipes say to melt it. Some just say to put pats of butter over the top. And so that's what I'm going to do. And then as it bakes, the butter melts and it melts down in there. And I don't know, I just like doing it this way. For one thing, it's a little bit quicker. And who doesn't like quick and easy? And the butter adds such flavor. I used to make this quite often, but we don't eat desserts a lot. But whenever I need to take a dessert somewhere and I don't have a lot of time, this is my go-to, because I get compliments of who made that cherry casserole thing. Oh my goodness, it was so delicious. And so you'll get compliments. And so here we are, we have our pan all ready to go into the oven. When the oven beeps to tell me that it's ready, I'll put it in the oven and we'll let it bake for 50 to 60 minutes. You can set your timer for 50 minutes, look at it if you want it to be like golden brown and bubbly. So just keep checking on it between the 50 and 60 minutes and you'll have a great dessert. And here it is, all ready to go in the oven. So while that's in the oven baking, I just wanted to say a little bit, since this is Friendsgiving and we're coming up on Thanksgiving, I just wanted to remind everyone how important it is to be kind and compassionate, especially this time of year. There are so many families that are struggling. They're struggling to put food on the table. They're struggling to meet their bills. And then we're coming up on the holidays when you're expected to spend even more money that you don't even have. And so people can often be out of sorts, and maybe children can be acting up. And instead of giving them the side eye and looking at them weird, if we just use some kindness and compassion, it can go a long way. If you see a mother in the store and she's struggling with her child, maybe ask her if you could, can I help you? Is there something that I can do to help you? You just don't know what that would do for that person. And I personally know some people who, it's about a 30-minute drive from here, but there's a trailer park where a lot of low-income families live. And the 1st of November, they got a letter in the mail that said they have to vacate that property by December the 31st. And these are people who live on the edge. They have no extra money. And now suddenly they've got to get out of where they're living and find a new place. And you have to have deposits and you have to have all kinds of things when you move. And my heart just goes out to them. So there are situations and circumstances that people go through, especially this time of year, that we don't know anything about. And so if we find someone out in public and they're acting kind of ugly, let's just give them some grace. Let's give them some grace and show some kindness and compassion, because that truly will go a long way. And if we are able to put food on our table and have a roof over our head, how blessed we are. And this time of year, let's just truly count our blessings, because like I said, there are so many people out there who are struggling right now. While we're waiting for our dump cake to bake, I just wanted to give you those encouraging words and something to think about during this holiday season. I wish you could smell this. It smells amazing. So I just took it out of the oven. It's hot and bubbly. I let mine cook 60 minutes. I set the timer for 50, but I checked. It still wasn't as brown as I would like it to be. So I left it in for 5 minutes, checked it again, thought, oh, I'll give it 5 more minutes. So at 350 degrees for 60 minutes is what I baked this for. And now it's time to dish it up. And it serves much like a cobbler. See if I can get a spoon. And there it is in the bowl. You can serve it in a bowl or on a plate. Since it is much like a cobbler, you could get a scoop of ice cream and put on there. Oh, it would be really good. Of course, have it with a nice hot cup of coffee. I hope you enjoy this, guys, and I hope that if you decide to make it, it turns out great for you. Happy Friendsgiving. We'll see you next time. It was so good with that nice hot cup of coffee. Don't forget to check out all of the collaborators in this video listed in the description. We'll see you next time.